Hey guys, my name is Amber. I've been driving for about 3 years. I'm based out of Mississippi. I currently drive flatbed, but I had been contemplating making this video for a while. I've been in a couple of Facebook forums and I've noticed there's a lot of people that ask what really to expect. They were looking into trucking and wanted to know what to expect when you get out here. What your recruiters don't tell you, because just like the military, when you talk to a recruiter, they're going to tell you what you want to hear in order to get you in the job. And not saying that recruiters, not saying they don't tell some of the truth, but it's a little sugar coated, to get you really interested in this job. So I just wanted to make a video to kind of give you a generalized idea of what to expect when you're first coming into this industry. What my personal experience was like. You may not experience this at all. You might have a really wonderful experience, and what they promised you when they talk to you on the phone, like your recruiter, what they promised you in the beginning, they may stick to it, but this is just one scenario that could happen, just so you're better prepared, so you're not blindsided when you come out of school and you're like, oh, it's nothing like they said that it was going to be. And I had gotten caught up and blindsided a few times right as I was coming out of school, and it was really difficult. So I wanted to just kind of give you what my personal story was, and so you're more well aware. So I've been driving for about 3 years. I started in dry van, which is just the box trucks and stuff like that. I signed up with a major corporation, kind of like the ones that say that they're going to pay for your school. So Warner, US Express, Swift, people like that, the major corporations like that, and they pay for your school. So I signed up for this in the beginning or whatever, and they paid for my school. Now, I originally did this because I was stuck in a really bad place. I wanted to make my life better for me and my son. At the time, he was 2, 3. And I live in Mississippi. There's not a lot of job opportunities unless I wanted to bust my ass, work 2 jobs, home or gone a lot, and then barely make what I would make out here. So this was it. I didn't have a lot of family to kind of help take care of me while I went to school and finished. I was going to into nursing, and I abruptly stopped and never got the opportunity to go back. And this was quick and easy, as far as, well, it's not easy, but it was easier than going through 2-3 years of school. This was a lot quicker to help my situation with my son and everything. So I went into this. I signed on to this corporation, and just to expect that they take care of everything. The only thing that I had to take care of was food for the weekends that we didn't have school, because we had school Monday through Friday, and I had to feed myself on the weekends, and I had to make sure I had enough for my CDL once we finished everything, and our before we went with our trainer. So I think that, I don't know exactly what it is. You can look it up. You'll get the permit wherever you are actually going to trucking school at. So I went in Missouri. I got my permit there, and then once I finished school, I tested out in Missouri. It was like $135 to $180, somewhere around there. I did that and then came back down south, and I had like a certain amount of days to switch it back over to my state. But I did that. Now, when I first started, I went in as a team. I went in with, he's my ex now, but I went in with who I was with at the time. And we signed in, went to school, did 175 hours of with a trainer. So expect to be gone roughly 2 months. You'll go to school about 3 weeks, and then some companies, the company that I happen to be with, made us do 175 hours. I think some like make you stay gone like a certain amount of days, or make you clock a certain amount of hours, something like that. But it's for a little while, to make sure you get quality training. Now, the one thing I have noticed, I really wish that these major corporations would spend a bit more time with us, because I realized how much I didn't know. I had some of the basics, some of the fundamentals, but I learned so much once I got out here on my own. So just kind of be prepared for that. Timing, like as far as like when you'll actually be able to get home, my personal experience, and then money. I know they tell you you'll be gone, 2 weeks at a time. You can come in. You can, most of the time, like they say that you'll be out for 2 weeks, and then you come in for a reset. So our resets are like 34 hours, and you'll learn the whole, the clock and everything like that, how much you're allowed to be on duty, off duty, what a reset is, all that kind of stuff. So you stay home for 34 hours. It's not a lot of time, a day and a half, that's it. A day and a half, it's, a day and 10 hours, but it's not a long time. Now, when I went in, and I didn't know this, here's the difference when you first go in about the whole time, home time, is that I went in as a team. They did not tell me that because I was a team, I would be required to stay out 3 to 4 weeks at a time. And at the time I had a 3-year-old. That was a huge factor. I learned about this after the fact. After I got our first load, they told us to put in for home time, and I did, and they were like, you have to send in another one, it's too early. I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, you're a teamer, so you have to stay out 3 to 4 weeks at a time. I was so defeated. I had done all of that work, and then I realized I was going to be gone so much. I mean, it's 2 more weeks, but it's a huge difference once you get out here, especially when you have kids back at home. I mean, it's difficult anyway, but that was one thing that heavily blindsided me. So kind of be prepared for that. I'm not saying that will happen to you. That's just what happened to me. It's good to have a lot of questions to ask them, because when they ask, they can't lie. Well, they can sugarcoat it a lot. So just be prepared, all right? Just treat them as somebody that's just going to sugarcoat it as much as they can, because they need drivers. We always need drivers. But my biggest thing is, like, don't lie to me. Tell me what's up so I know how to better prepare myself. And that's what this is about. So you guys know. Money, I think I had a guy earlier tell me, because I couldn't remember exactly what they told me, but I think they said, oh yeah, you can make up to $1,000 a week. That's great. I'll be able to get out of debt quick, pay my bills, I'll be able to get caught up. I don't want to deter anybody. Just like any company, you are going to start from the bottom. You have to work your way up to the top. When I first started, I think I cleared $550 after, because they pay for most of your school, but you have to pay a little bit. So they took about $50 a week into my check. So after taxes and my loan, I had about $550 left. That was one of my weeks. I think that was one of my first weeks, something like that. The most I ever made with them was $1,300. That was teaming, though. Just remember that. That happened to be a very rare week. Traffic was great. We were out west. We ran from west coast to east coast on 80, I think, something like that. We ran a couple loads like that. And we were like 400 miles shy, 300 to 400 miles shy. And you'll learn about your clock, but if you do your clock just right, you can save as many hours as possible, or many minutes, because it does add up. And we almost got 7,000 miles in 1 week. That was the week that we made almost 13, or it was like 1,300 after taxes. Great week. We ran so hard, and it does. You have to take care of yourself out here. But that was that was the most I ever made with that company. That was making, because they start you off, I think it was like 38 to 40 cents a mile or something like that. Well, Teamers, they split your pay in half, and they pay out whatever your miles your co-driver drives as well. But we got paid like, oh, is it 23 cents a mile or something like that? Yeah, it was ridiculous. But you got, like, whatever miles your co-driver drove, you got paid for those as well. So you would normally clear about 5 to 6,000, depending on how hard you ran. 4 to 6, 1,000 miles a week. So you could roughly get about, $700-800, something like that. I haven't sat down and actually went over it, and that was a long time ago. But it wasn't $1,000. Only made that one time, and that was running incredibly hard. Don't let it deter you. Just be prepared for it. Don't think that you're going to go in and be like, oh, I'm going to be able to pay all this bills, I'm going to make so much money, and it blindsides you, because you're like, oh, okay, well, why am I out here and I'm not making a lot of money? You will get to that, though. You'll get to that amount. Now, I did my time. I was gone a lot. It was incredibly difficult. Moms and dads, personally, I had a really difficult time being away from my son that much. Some dads, and I've seen it, sometimes they're really great at this. They're able to almost numb themselves so where it doesn't bother them as much. Not saying they care any less, but they're like, okay, I'm at work, we're gonna make this work, and then they can do it like that. And I had a super difficult time being gone so much. But I did that for a while. I put some of the time in. The people that have been out here a long time, 20 plus years. I mean, I don't even come close to it. I've only been driving for 3 years. But these are just, I'm talking about the people that are just coming into this industry. What you're gonna, and at least one version of what to expect. Because I hated being blindsided like that. Money will, pick up. Right now, I've been driving for 3 years. I signed on with a great company. They're local out of Mississippi, and they put me on, not having any experience, but they trained me, and I work my ass off. But I do make good money, and I'm home every weekend. I want to be home every night, but that's just not the case. I am home a lot. I do pass by. I run down south most of the time, so I'm more regional than I am OTR. But occasionally I would go to Chicago, or I'll go to Colorado if I want a higher paying load. But right now, I average, and this is just real talk, and I'm not quite sure why people don't talk about this more, why they don't want to show how much they make. I mean, I'm not bragging by any means, but I was like, oh, man, I just want to know what exactly I'm going to make after taxes. What am I really expecting? And nobody would actually go over and say, this is exactly what I made for each paycheck stub. And I can show you guys paycheck stubs. So you know exactly, I can actually go over what I make, or how much, and how taxes and all that kind of stuff. I average, I run down south, so I average between 7 to 9 is my average. In the winter, your loads die down, you don't get as much freight moving, but in the summer there's a lot of paychecks, $1,200, $1,300, $1,500. That's after taxes. I can make really good money. It depends on how hard I run and how much work I put into. But when I'm out here, I don't mess around. I'm like, okay, I'm away from my kid, I'm not gonna take a bunch of breaks. I take my mandatory 30-minute break, and I drive as much as I can, and I get in and I get out as fast as I can. And that's just my mentality. But that's how much I make now. It's an average. It's good for, me being able to be in every weekend. That's good for Mississippi, I've been trying to get on locally. It's difficult. You know, in Mississippi, there's not a whole lot of job opportunities. It's kind of few and far between. Local jobs are hard to find out there, and a lot of people don't want to give them up, obviously. So I've kind of been waiting for one to open up, and most of the time when you first get in, you need about 2 years experience. So I've just passed the marker for it. You know, I'm still looking, but I want something that I can stay with for a while. You know, so I've seen people come right out of school and get a local job, and it just blows my mind. I'm like, I wish I had that. But that's like larger states like New York and stuff like that have a lot of local positions open for that. You know, but I mean, that's the gist of what to expect. I know I'll probably make another video. There's a lot more that goes into it, but that is the, you know, that's the minimum of, you know, what you're gonna see happen, maybe. You know, I wish you the best of luck. It's a huge step, and it's scary. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just wanted to let you guys know my personal experience, so you're not totally blindsided, and to prepare for it. You know, that's the biggest thing, is like, this job is great. I love my job. It is something different every day. It's stressful, you know, and it's difficult, and sometimes it makes me really nervous because you're driving a really heavy piece of equipment that could kill somebody in a second, kill you or somebody else. And, you know, sometimes I have nightmares about it, but it's still a great job. You know, it's a line of work, and you just, when I came off the road one time after something happened to my son, and after he was better, I had like missed the open road, and I never thought that I'd feel that way. I really acquired the taste of just being out on the open road. It's gorgeous. You get to travel and stuff and meet really cool people, and, you know, even as a female, some females, you know, I've heard some females deter from this job because they're scared of being out on the road, because I've seen some of the documentaries they make. It's crazy. Yes, it can be dangerous. You know, I'll make a video about what not to do out here, you know, but I've been alone for a while now, and most of the people out here will help you, will protect you, you know. You know, there's been a couple instances, but I walk around, you know, with my head held high, and I can still talk to people without it being like, oh my gosh, they're gonna attack me. That's not the case. You know, you don't have to be scared. You just have to be mindful. You know, that's a whole nother thing. But I just, you know, I was giving you this small piece. I'll make another video, depending on, you know, how you guys enjoy this. If you want to know more about it, there's a lot more that goes into it, but this was just the very gist of it. But I hope you guys have an awesome day, and if you have any questions, just leave it down in the comments. Thanks.